Hello and welcome to a Jaren 134 video, and today we're going to be doing a video review of the DropTech Series Military Edition GumDrop case by Hard Candy Cases for the Asus Transform. Let's get into the review. As you can see, this case is sort of on the thick side, but that comes with this being a overly protective case. This case is composed of green and black for the color, and it has the hard rubbery smooth edges with extra, it's kind of extra thick on the corners, on all four corners. It's the exact same to be able to pull to be able to hold its own when the impact of dropping it happens and your device is protected. Let's take a 360 tour here. As you can see on the right side of the case, if you're looking at it from the front, there's a flap that reveals the mini HDMI port. There's a flap that reveals the micro SD card slot, and there's a opening for the right speaker. Turning it around to the bottom of the case, we have a flap that reveals the charging / thinking port for your computer or your charger. Put that back in there, and then that's all we have on the bottom. But as you can see, there's this rigidy, mountainous kind of pattern here. It goes all around the case. You can see this rigidy, mountainous pattern. As we turn to the left of the case, you can see here that there's another opening for the other speaker on the left side of the case, and there's some molded indentions basically for the volume rocker and the power switch. And get to the top, and there's nothing but the shape that is here because there's a front facing and a back camera. That's why it's a big space right there. So looking at the front of the device, I have to hold the camera up for this one. Looking at the front of the device, you can see that there's a opening for the front facing and light sensor on this device. You can see here that there is green and black, and then the black is the bezel around the screen. And what makes this case unique, being the military edition of the DropTech series, is that the front screen has a layer underneath the outside, the part that you touch on the outside. There's a layer underneath that prevents dust and dirt from collecting under the case. Although the outside layer of this case is made up of some sort of a plastic that collects dust on the outside really, really bad. Like, you'd want to keep a eyeglass wipe or a microfiber cloth handy at all times, or something like that, because this does collect dirt. But I have noticed that is the one downside about it. Other than that, this is like, it seems to me like a scratch-proof plastic that I've never seen before, because it's not gotten any scratches since I've had it. Turning to the back of the case, you see a opening for the 5-megapixel camera, and it has a circle around it and a plastic covering the camera. And on the back, you see that this mountainous ridge type pattern follows from what you saw on the front and the edges. So I think that's it's not. I think that's more of a way to absorb the shock if you was to drop the device, more than it is an aesthetic look, because the colors obviously for military edition to stand for that. But I think the ridges all along this case are designed for shock absorbance if you was to drop it, basically. As you can see here, there is a GumDrop logo and the smoothed corners. See? Smooth corner, smooth corner, smooth corner, and smooth corner. I believe this is for shock absorbing, just like I said with the rigidity pattern. And this case is very comparable to a OtterBox case, if not better, if you ask me. Because if you notice along the edges here, you see no loose edge of any kind anywhere on this case. And with the OtterBox cases, you can usually start to see over time how the rubbery edges that meet up with the plastic begin to kind of have some looseness going on there. This case is not like that, and that is one thing that makes this an advantage over the OtterBox case if you were trying to find one. But OtterBox doesn't make an Asus Transform case. That's why I ended up with this. But this is a really good case, and I would recommend it to anyone who owns an Asus Transform and you're looking for heavy protection. So once again, this has been a General 134 video, and you've watched a video review of the GumDrop DropTech Series Military Edition case from Hard Candy Cases for the Asus Transform.